All right, we're back. Let's go. Happy Monday. Welcome everybody to the stream. Let's go. What up, Carl? Round of applause from the live studio audience for Carl. Dude, what up, everybody? Welcome. Hope you guys are having had a good weekend. Dude, you guys seen the price? We're at 47,000. 47,000. Look at that. Just like that. Right? We just restarted our stack for 2024 here on the show. And it's already in the green. It's crazy. And our main stack for the whole lifespan of the show, I think we're at 40% gains. It's wild. Anyway, we'll look into that during the stack recap. But first, let's get the show started with a little SATS strength. SATS strength. How many Satoshis can you buy for a single dollar? Let's find out right now. 2,128 Satoshis for a single dollar? Dude, it's going to drop below 2,000. That's crazy. What up, Leonard? Round of applause from a live studio audience for Leonard. Thanks for tuning in. It's happening, guys. It's happening. So, okay. We're going to talk about ETFs and all that stuff during the Why We Stack segment, and I'm also going to show you some stuff that I've been kind of watching that I think you guys will like. Okay, so today the price of Bitcoin is $47,002. Let's go, baby! You can buy 2,128 Satoshis for a single dollar. What the heck is a Satoshi? A Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin, just like a dollar has 100 cents. A Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis. So you don't have to go invest $47,000 right now. You can invest as much as you feel comfortable with and buy fractions of a Bitcoin. Those fractions of a Bitcoin, those Satoshis, have the same properties as if you had a whole Bitcoin. So they shield that money that you have saved in Bitcoin from inflation. Okay, Bitcoin is Bitcoin is a way out of the wage slavery, right? That's what the title of today's episode is. Bitcoin is the way out of wage slavery. If you just continue to work and saving the money that steals from you in fiat and dollars, you'll never stop working until the day you die, right? But if you save some of that wealth you're creating in Bitcoin, then the system's not working for you and your asset is building in value. And so you can retire sooner as opposed to never retire. You choose. You could be a fiat slave the rest of your life, or you can retire early. The more you save in Bitcoin, the sooner you can retire. Okay. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Hard Hodl in the house. What up, Hard Hodl? Welcome back. Being right sucks. Try to rekindle relationships with my dad, and he doubled down on how crap Bitcoin was. No. Damn, dude. Well, I know you, Hard Hodl, and I believe you're probably saving for your pops on the side. So you're a good son, dude. Very cool. Johnny Midas in the house. Let's go. Johnny Midas. Go touch something to make it into gold so we can sell it and buy Bitcoin. Let's go, baby. That's awesome. Sorry, I had to throw that mythology in there. All right. So that's what we have in the... Oh, no, wait, one more thing. So say you're walking down the street, minding your own business, you look down. Let me start over. Let me say that a little bit clearer, a little bit slower. Let's say you're walking down the street, minding your own business. You look down. You see a penny. You pick it up. Well, that penny could potentially be 21 Satoshis. 21 Satoshis. Okay? That penny is no longer good luck. That penny, take that penny, exchange it for Satoshis, and you can have 21 Satoshis. Okay? For now. Soon, you might not even be able to afford 20 Satoshis. It's gonna be 19 Satoshis for a single penny. And I'm talking soon. It's wild, right? So remember when we started the show? We used to be able to get 39 Satoshis for a single penny. Now we're getting almost half of that. It's wild. So that goes to show you this is an example of how the fiat money, the dollars, the pennies, the cents are losing purchasing power. So you need more pennies to buy the same amount of Satoshis, right? So now we need two pennies to buy the 39 Satoshis, right? Or the 42 Satoshis. Anyway, that's what we have for the SATS strength. And now let's jump into the next segment of the show, which we like to call Why We Stack. All right. So in the Why We Stack segment, it's just me talking smack over inspirational music. So the topic of today's show is Bitcoin is a way out of wage slavery. And we kind of talked a little bit about it already, but it's real simple, okay? Bitcoin is going to be the opportunity for you to be, I guess, wealthy, right? So if you look at it a certain way, like the more you save in Bitcoin, the more shielded that value becomes from inflation. So naturally, just because your asset is not losing purchasing power, you're gaining purchasing power. It's wild, right? So when you save in dollars, you lose purchasing power. When you save in Bitcoin, you're actually gaining purchasing power. So you're becoming more wealthy. Wealth is really how much purchasing power you have, how much purchasing power you have under your control, right? So if you save in an asset that's building up your purchasing power, that's why people buy houses. That's why people buy stocks, because they want a certain percentage growth over time, right? And they hope that it's higher than the rate of inflation. Because if it's not higher than the rate of inflation, then you're losing purchasing power over time, right? And that's what's important. You gotta gain purchasing power. The best thing you've done, the best thing you could do at this point with the asset classes that we have available to us today, is to save in Bitcoin. It's super easy. You don't have to become a financial planner. You don't have to become a stock guru, trader / investor / home developer / all this other stuff, right? You don't even have to go to college. You don't even have to go to get a Harvard business degree to go work in the stock market managing people's money, right? You don't need to do that. All you gotta do is work at whatever skill you can do, right? Get whatever job you can get, so you can stack as many sats as possible before the next halving, before the ETFs get approved, which might be on Wednesday, by the way. Right? But just stack as much as you can, and you can have an 80 IQ and be making more money than anybody that's gone to whatever university and is working for whatever company, right? All those people that took all that hard work and got their degrees and became a doctor or whatever, right? I'm not talking smack because they did all that hard work. That hard work is great, and I appreciate those people that did all that hard work. The problem is that the system is set up to steal from you, and even if you did all the work, you did all the right things, you got all the best grades, you went to the best school, you paid for all of your student loans, you did all the right thing that what you're supposed to do, right? It won't matter, because the rate at which the money is expanding, you'll never be able to keep up with it. Even if you had 2 doctor's degrees, even if you worked 2 doctor jobs and did an Uber on the side, you still will not be able to keep up with inflation. And that's the issue. So what do? You take whatever way you do to get your money, whatever way you do to get income, and you take that income and you save it in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin shields you from inflation, and you will naturally become more wealthy, more purchasing power over time. It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's it. Simple as that. I gotta take this jacket off because it just got really hot in here. It's pumping. I know it's pumping. It's down. It's up to like 47. It's crazy. And that's not even. I think Opti on Simply Bitcoin said this is a pump for ants, though. Okay, this is a pump for ants. Right now, all we should be doing is stack it as much as possible, even now, right? Because I'm gonna show you guys this video next. It's a video on a Bloomberg Intelligence channel, I think it's called. Let me credit them. Let me credit them properly. This is a video on Bloomberg Television on YouTube, and they're talking to a Bitcoin ETF, I guess, analyst, and he's talking about what this Bitcoin ETF means. And let's listen to it. And I'm gonna do a little bit color commentary over the recording. I want to pause and talk about it a little bit while it's going on, and we can analyze it together. Okay, so let's do that. Spice up the show a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting. So this is on Bloomberg Television, and I'm going to pop it up here on the screen. Here we go, screen. All right, there we are. So here we go. So let's just watch it, roll it.
Yeah, I mean, so we've been narrowed in on this range of January 8th to January 10th for well over a month at this point, saying that we thought approvals were going to come now. And we're still there. We think we're going to see approvals at some point in the next 2 to 3 days. So today or through Wednesday at the latest, we're expecting to see approvals. So
and
that's what.
What specifically is the SEC going to rule here?
Yeah, so essentially to list these Bitcoin ETFs, they have to go through a special process called 19b4. And it's basically these exchanges and these issuers are asking for a rule change. In this case, the rule change is, can we list spot Bitcoin ETFs? And the SEC has a deadline on the first application there from Cathie Wood's ARK and 21 Shares that are partnered together. And that deadline is January 10th. And the SEC is likely to basically, we expect them to approve the rule change. We think they're going to allow them to list spot Bitcoin ETFs. So that's step one of 2 steps for these things to list and start trading, possibly this week, if not maybe next week. But that's what we're expecting here. We're expecting the approvals to happen. We think it's not going to just happen for Cathie Wood's ARK, but also happen for all the other applicants. So there's 11 different filers right now trying to launch these ETFs. And we saw a flurry of movement this morning in filings.
Right. All right. So she asks the next question, that's important, guys. It's a huge deal. 11 companies coming in with a ton of money, getting ready to buy Bitcoin. It's insane, right? And I'm gonna let it play through a little bit more because it's some more important stuff that they're gonna say, and we're gonna talk about that after a bit. Give me a second.
Right. So to your point with those filings, especially when it comes to BlackRock, Grayscale, and among these others, who are some of these top names that have gone through with these filings so far in recent days?
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I can rattle them off. I mean, Grayscale is the leader here because they have $26 billion in assets right now. Right now, they've announced their fee only at 1.5%. I wouldn't be surprised if they lower it ultimately before they launch, because currently it's operating as an inefficient trust vehicle that has like premiums and discounts. So a lot of people are upset with that. But the SEC, we think, is ready to greenlight their conversion to an ETF. But you have 21 Shares in ARK, who I've mentioned. You have BlackRock. You have Bitwise, who right now is the lowest offering. So they've come in at a fee of they're offering a fee waiver to 0%. So there's 3 different firms offering a 0% fee waiver. Bitwise is down at 0.24% for the expense ratio. Van Eck is down at 0.25%. I mean, these are really low fees. I've been saying for months that I expected these issuers to come in, democratize investing in these funds, drive down costs for end investors, and these fees that I'm seeing are still way lower than anything I was expecting.
Wow. So, James, do these ETFs, if they get approval, do they start going out and raising capital and buying buying Bitcoin? How is this going to work actually in the marketplace?
Yeah, so a lot of them have already raised capital. So there is seed capital on the sidelines. We don't know exactly how much. So there is some seed capital. We know Bitwise has raised 200. Some people have labeled only 2.5 million or 10 million. But we've heard rumors of others that have billions of dollars waiting to invest in these things. So essentially, because of the way these are structured, they're only going to be allowed to do cash creation or redemption. So typically in ETF, you can actually put the underlying asset directly into the fund and then in return get shares of the actual ETF. Right now, the SEC is only allowing cash create. So the only thing that can go into this fund is cash, and then it's on the fund itself to buy the asset. So when all this money starts pouring in, now who knows how much it's going to be. Based on the rumors, it's going to be bigger than anything I was expecting. It's going to be buying of the underlying spot Bitcoin. So there's going to be all these market makers, traders, the Wall Street traders that you think of are going to be out there buying spot Bitcoin for these fund companies.
What would be the timetable if we do hear from SEC commissioners that are expected to vote on those filings this week? So what happens after that, and how quickly can this get through for the marketplace?
Yeah, so like I kind of hinted at this before, there's 2 processes. That 19b4 process, which is that rule change decision, right? That is going to come this week. We think it's going to happen. It has to happen by Wednesday as far as I'm concerned. And that's the first step for these things to launch. The second step is for the S1s or prospectuses or offering documents, these legal documents that disclose how the trust or funds are going to operate, all the risks, those types of things. They also need sign off from another division at the SEC. Now, my initial thinking was that we'd get these 19b4s this week, maybe Wednesday, and then we'd get the S1s at some point later this week or early next week, and then they could begin trading. But once we have both the 19b4s approved and the S1s are effective or complete or approved by the SEC, once both those things are done, within 24 hours, these things are going to begin trading. So it's possible that we could see these things begin trading this week. That's some of the rumors out there right now. People are looking at January 11th. If not, I do think they are going to begin trading the following week at the latest right now. That's my current assessment.
Well, Bitcoin is up about 160% over the last 12 months. Does that mean some of these funds have already been out there in the marketplace buying, or is this thing going to go even higher now once they start getting into the market and buying?
So, great question. I don't know the exact answer to that second part of the question, but the first part is it's unlikely that these funds, and I don't think it's possible for these funds to have been buying the underlying Bitcoin, right? As I mentioned, there is no ability to do the in-kind creation or redemption. So typical ETFs, like I said, you hand over the asset. So in this case, it would be Bitcoin, and in return, you get the shares of the ETF. In this case, the only way to get Bitcoin inside of these legal entities, these ETFs, is for cash to go in and then for Bitcoin to be bought. None of these funds, none of these documents have shown that these companies have bought Bitcoin through those funds. So any buying of Bitcoin is likely still to occur when these things ultimately list.
All right, so that's basically what the part that I wanted you guys to see, that last part. So it's wild. It's incredible because what they're saying is that these companies are gonna these ETFs, right? The way that they're gonna get approved is you cannot deposit Bitcoin into it, like Bitcoin that you already have, and exchange it for a share of the ETF, right? And so it means that the only way to get Bitcoin into these ETF infrastructure or these ETF plans is to take money and buy it as the ETF, right? Or as the ETF provider, right? And so even if there's no way for them to go now ahead of time and buy it before the ETF gets approved and then just transfer Bitcoin into their accounts. No, they got to wait for the ETF to get approved first. Then they could go buy the Bitcoin. So a lot of people that are saying like, oh, all this is priced in, right? That once it gets approved, people are going to sell the news and the Bitcoin's going to dip, right? So I'm guessing it's not going to dip just based off of that. And like, think about it, the volume of demand that's going to come in if they have that volume of money sitting on the side waiting for the approval of the ETF. Once it gets approved, then they can use that money to buy it through the ETF, and then that's when the real purchasing comes in. That's when the real demand goes gangbusters, right? Stacker's gonna stack and slacker's gonna slack. That's right. Round of applause for Hard Huddle. That's hard hitting right there. That's hard hitting. So true. So true. Slacker's gonna slack and stacker's gonna stack. I love it. But if you're stacking, you're doing the right thing, and this is gonna be maybe the only opportunity that you're gonna have as far as like being a common person to do what's called front running a bank, right? So what does front running means? What does front running mean? So in the stock trade industry, I guess you could say, some companies like it's illegal, right? But I think some companies still do it through high frequency trading and like computers and stuff. They see a buy order coming in for a certain asset at a certain price, and if the asset is selling a little bit lower than what your bid came in for, they'll go and they buy it ahead of you and they sell it to you for a little bit more, and you still get a good price, right? But they keep the difference, and they're doing it so fast and so high frequency that it's actually profitable, right? But they're front running you, right? Or if you know about news that's like not public yet, you can front run like a stock that way, but that's like securities fraud, right? Or that's like insider trading, right? So that's like illegal, right? But in this case, the only reason that these ETFs can't buy Bitcoin now is because they need the approval, right? So they can't buy Bitcoin, but you can, right? So you have the opportunity, knowing now with like I think this guy said like 95% certainty that it's gonna get approved. Knowing what you know now, it's like, dude, it's like you have the ability to front run the real big money, right? To buy the thing that all this money is going to try to buy when they get approved. You have the opportunity to buy that asset before they get into the market, right? Before they're even allowed to get into the market. So that's like such a huge opportunity. So I said, are you about to miss? It says, and you're about to miss it, right? What's the title of the show? So it's such a good opportunity. Like, even if it does dip, if it dips like even 40%, 20%, doesn't matter. Just don't sell your Bitcoin, and then it'll come back up to where it was and plus some, right? It's just a matter of understanding the technology, understanding how it works, understanding that Bitcoin is the scarcest thing you can own, right? And when the price goes down, it's okay. Just buy a little bit more, and you'll make up the difference on the way up. It's insane. Okay. All right. Remember, Bitcoin is for long-term. Bitcoin is for long-term savings. Okay. If you have any kind of money that you want to keep for more than 4 years, just put it in Bitcoin, just because naturally it's gonna not be affected by inflation, right? So anyway, let's keep it going. Let's jump into the next segment of the show, which we like to call Stack Recap. Sorry. Stack Recap, because we don't only talk about stacking Bitcoin. We actually stack it every day. We actually stack it every weekday, Monday through Friday, 12:30 East, 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern. All right, here we go. I mean, look, it's not a lot, but we're up 6% since the beginning of the year, right? Yeah, granted, it's only about like $11. It's only $11, but still, it's $11 we didn't have. That's $11. The dollar is $11 weaker today than it was on the 1st, 5 days ago. Okay, so this is a reflection of the dollar's purchasing power against Bitcoin, right? Sorry, of Bitcoin's purchasing power against the dollar. Okay, you need 6.28% more dollars to buy the same amount of Satoshis, right? It's crazy. See, slow and steady. It just keeps building, right? Now, if you were watching the show from the beginning, and you started stacking with us back in May 22nd when the show first started, guys, we're up 41%. It's wild, right? We've slow and steady accumulated 11 million Satoshis, 11.4 million Satoshis. If we were to go and try to buy 11.4 million Satoshis today with the weaker dollars, it would cost us $5,341, but we've only paid $3,784. Telling you, Bitcoin gets you closer to your financial goals, and without having to do anything extra. All you have to do is buy it, take custody, and that's it. And wait, and just sit tight, right? Look at it. Since May, it's 2023. Like, it's crazy, right? There's people that have been stacking forever. And anyway, let's keep it going. Let's keep the show going. I expected this to go up, and I'm still kind of shocked. Even though I expected it to go up, I'm still kind of shocked just by the value that we're getting, right? The purchasing power of this money that I set aside basically has gone up 41%. That's what this means, right? The purchasing power of this money grew 41% in like 8 months, 6 months, right? 6-7 months. What's going to give you 41% gains in 7 months or 6 months, right? Anything, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. And this is just the beginning, right? Get in there. All right, so let's get into that's our stack, and let me tell you the rules of the Stack SATS show bag. When the price of Bitcoin is below our average buy price, we buy a double stack. In this case, $40 worth of Bitcoin. But since today the price of Bitcoin is above our average buy price, we're only going to do $20 worth of Bitcoin. And if the price were to ever drop below our lowest purchase price, which is $42,856, then we'll do a quadruple stack, which is $80. Okay, it's just a way for me to pad the average so we can get better lower pricing as we go, and more a bigger portion of a lower price if it dips below our average buy price. Okay, so today we're gonna buy. Let's see. Oops. Today we're gonna buy $20 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, so 124. All right. So now that we know the plan, and now that we know what we're doing today, let's do what we came to do. It's time to stack some SATS. All right. Whoa, easy there, buddy. $20 worth of Bitcoin. We're about to do the preview. Give me a second while I pop open this preview screen and take a screenshot for my records. for the show stack. I had an interesting thought that I'd like to share with you guys in a second. Imagine that today, this little show, I mean, this our little humble show here is stacking $20 a day, right? Or whatever, however much we're stacking. And the value of the Satoshis we're stacking on the show could someday be worth more than like a major company today that's not stacking sats, right? It's crazy. That's crazy. I just had a thought. Anyway, all right. Here we go. I'm going to cut the music. We're going to hit the drum roll. We're stacking $20. We're buying $20 worth of Bitcoin. Oh, that's fast. And the Bitcoin is on its way. Nothing else left to do but chillax. Narwhal Tacos in the house. Let's go. Round of applause from the live studio audience from Narwhal. I came here to stack and chew bubblegum. Let's go. That's so good. I came here to stack and chew bubblegum and I'm all out of bubblegum. Let's go. Narwhal Tacos. Did you play Duke Nukem? That's so good. All right, let's update our spreadsheet, boys. So Narwhal, we have an ongoing show stack here, and we have our. We're also tracking it yearly, so we're tracking 2024 in a separate sheet, but it's still the same sats. So it's not cumulative. It's just right. It's so funny, dude. It's so good. Yeah, Duke Nukem says nothing left to do but kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. All right. So today's purchase came through at $47,067. Jeez. Probably the highest purchase price we paid in the show history, right? It is, actually. It is. We bought $20 worth, and we got 0.1234268. Okay. Did I mess something up anywhere? Even with that buy, we're still in the positive, guys. We're still up $11, okay? We're up about 6% in 7 days, right? It's pretty wild, okay? The reason I'm showing you guys this, and I'm going behind the scenes and I'm showing you guys my actual numbers here for the show, is to get you to understand, if it's your first time here, that it doesn't take a rocket scientist to just take whatever money you don't really need to spend on a coffee, on a $14 coffee, you know, on a $6 burger that really costs, I don't know, $15 now. What happened to the $6 burger, right? It's a $15 burger now, right? And if you want double meat, forget about it. It's more like 18, okay? So take that money that you're spending on things you don't really need. Go brew your own coffee at home. Cook your own burgers. And save some sats, okay? Put some of that money in sats. I'm putting in $20. You all can afford $20, okay? Not saying you need to do it every day like I do, but you could do maybe $50 a week, right? $100 a week, right? Take whatever thing you don't really need and cut it out of your life and save in sats. Once you start seeing the gains, you start looking at your own version of the spreadsheet, which, by the way, you could download this spreadsheet as a template by typing in !sat sheet in the chat. It'll give you a link where you can copy this spreadsheet and make your own, and you can track your sats, right? And you can look at it every day and be like, wow, you know what, this is actually working out. And it's going to give you what you might not have had in a long time. It's going to give you hope, right? It's going to give you that hope that you might not have to work till your dying day, right? That you might have an opportunity to actually save for something you want. It's insane. It's insane. Anyway, let me just finish this spreadsheet because I'm getting over here talking smack all the time. It's so inspirational. It's motivational. Jeez. The show stack is bolt. Yeah, it's Boltar stack. Boltar said it's my money. That's so funny. All right, let me input this into our ongoing sat buys. Look at all these shows, man. We're 134 episodes in. Still stacking, baby. Still stacking. Oops. Looks like I just do this. Bam. Bam. There it is. So now our final total for the whole show stack is 11.4 million satoshis. That's what we have in the show bag. And you know, does that change anything? Are we going to change our procedure? No. If the price of Bitcoin goes up, am I going to buy less? Wait for it to drop? No. I'm going to continue to buy. If the price of Bitcoin drops, I might even buy a little bit more. If the price of Bitcoin goes up, I'm going to continue with my DCA plan, right? Just whatever you feel comfortable with. Set up your plan, set up your amount, set up your frequency, and do it. And don't let the market maker manipulate you when the price goes up and down. Try to get you to fear losing out or to what is it, fear or greed and all that stuff, right? Don't let them manipulate with that stuff. Just get your schedule going, stick to your schedule, take your Bitcoin off of the exchange and into custody, right? And you're set, right? You're set. Like I was saying before, you don't have to be a genius, okay? You too can be an 80 IQ millionaire, right? You don't need to go. You don't even need to spend all that money to get educated, and you don't need to do a lot of things that are considered the right thing to do for you to be financially secure. All you gotta do is work your whatever job you have, save in Bitcoin, and it's like you're going downhill. You get momentum, right? Whereas if you save in the dollar, it's like you're constantly being railroaded and you're constantly going uphill, right? You're constantly swimming up a waterfall, right? You're swimming up the waterfall of the fiat money printer, right? You'll never be able to keep up with it. Even if you have 2 jobs and an Uber on the side, you're not going to make it, right? So with that said, hope you guys enjoy this episode of the StackSats show. And you know what's cool is you might wake up tomorrow a millionaire, depending on how many sats you have, right? Who knows? Or not tomorrow, Wednesday, right? We'll see what happens with this pump. But whatever happens, just remember, stick to your DCA schedule, stack your sats, take custody of those sats, and if it doesn't happen right away, it'll happen eventually, right? And remember, you're buying the most scarce thing you can get, right? And so it'll continue to gain in value, and you'll be better off sooner than if you saved in dollars. Super simple, okay? All right. So with that, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the StackSats show, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And until then, remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking. Later.